And so they went to legal counsel and they say, isn't there a difference between restricting and prohibition? Legal counsel says, well, yes and no, and maybe and everything. But the angle is that what they can do is say, okay, we're not restricting turkey hunting. We're not prohibiting turkey hunting. We're just restricting it to the spring or not in the spring. We're not prohibiting hiking. We're just limiting it to the spring or prohibiting it in the spring. We're not prohibiting fishing. We're just restricting it to all fishing but trout fishing, and so on and so forth. That, we have got legal memorandums of them internally discussing this as this rule process goes forward. And as we talk about the interim protocol, they have now recommended, though again we haven't seen the final rule language, they have now recommended that the interim protocol should be adopted. And in that case, a restriction on public land will only go to the Natural Resources Board if a significant objection is made. And who decides what a significant objection is? Lisa Nesta. Good luck with that. So we need to pay attention to what's happening with our stewardship dollars and our stewardship lands. The other significant thing, and why you're all here, is NR 115. 7 years of meetings, 2 years of silence, and now a rule threatens to wreck the economy of the Northwoods, and indeed significant portions of the entire state. A rule tends to increase exponentially the chances that someone's livelihood and homes will be taken from them. That's my point of view anyway. But let's go through the basics. The basic points of this rule, if you're not familiar with them, as proposed and as passed by the Natural Resources Board, is that the shoreline zone will extend and have impervious surface requirements. You can have up to 15% of your property covered by an impervious surface without mitigation, up to 30% covered with mitigation, and we'll have Pete talk about what those mitigation components might be. And when you're at 30%, you're done. The DNR says, don't worry, because, if you're done and you've got a non-conforming house or property, you can keep what you have. We're not going to make you tear down your garage. We're not going to make you tear up your patio. Hey, you can even do a new project if you tear out something you've already got. We'll let you have that impervious driveway. Just tear down your house. They're fun-loving folks, those DNR. The point of this is that it now extends 1,000 feet from a lake, or actually from the ordinary high water mark of a lake, which could be several hundred feet from the open water itself, as we know, as they move their ordinary high water mark lake bed determinations ever farther out. And 300 feet from the landward side of a floodplain or a river or a stream. Now I did a little calculation, and you may have seen the paper, but I'll run through it briefly here. This is an unprecedented and unparalleled power grab by an out-of-control agency. It is an unfair and onerous regulation, and here are some of the impacts. First of all, let's see how far the regulation expands. The DNR estimated several hundred years ago, I wish, the DNR estimated several years ago that in northern Wisconsin there was 9,600 miles of private shoreline frontage. I don't know whether that's accurate or not, but let's take that for the calculation. Prior to, well, right now, with this old rule, their zone of regulation is 75 feet, pretty much. That's where your conformity issues come into play. They don't have too much to do beyond 75 feet unless wetlands are involved. So that's about, in 9,600 miles, that's about in northern Wisconsin, that's about 90,000 acres that they have hands-on regulatory power. Now, if you go to 300 feet, which they had proposed 2 years ago, 300 feet of all ordinary high water marks, you would extend that zone of hands-on authority to about properties and thousands of properties that are going to be non-conforming because they already don't meet the impervious surface requirements. That calculation does not include properties close to a river or stream. It doesn't include the rest of the state, just northern Wisconsin. It doesn't include properties close to a floodplain. So you can see